Hey, what's up, guys and gals? My name is Rick Nenji. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about
off.
Batman. Hey, what's up, guys and gals? My name is Rick Nenji. Thank you so much for joining me today.
There we go. Hi, Kathy. I gotta turn the volume off here. Mute the laptop. I was watching a channel that's called Rick Nineg. The guy's last name is Nineg, and he does some of these really funny background videos on things like the old Batman 1960s TV show with all its goofy villains, and stuff on Gilligan's Island, Hogan's Heroes, I Love Lucy, Three's Company, and they're all these nice little, anywhere from 5 to 10-minute videos. And I was just watching one and laughing because it was about an episode of the old Batman series where they almost wrecked what at the time would have been a $2 million Learjet. Yeah, you're not supposed to break the stuff that people are letting you have on in the background of your episodes. Apparently a stuntman got up on the wing of the plane during the big fight, and he was a heavy guy, and so he's way out on the end of the wing, and it actually made this Learjet start to tilt, which apparently really freaked out the owner of a Learjet. I can't imagine how bonkers that is that, first off, that you don't think of the Batman TV show from the 60s as having something in the background of one episode being worth that kind of money. And yeah, a massive Learjet in the background. So Linda's here from Michigan. Sherry Edwards is here. Hello, guys. How are you all doing this evening? This is going to be a short one tonight. It's got to try to stay to an hour, no more than an hour and a half, for a couple of reasons. One, I'm wired. Heart monitor. Gonna have real fun trying to hide this tomorrow. But I have a funeral to be at of a friend who passed away and was only 53, and she'd had a massive heart attack. And there are other friends who are about that same age. They're a couple of years younger than I am. And I don't really want them to see. None of them will be live on watching this tonight. And I know of only like 2 of them that occasionally watch my channel. They did subscribe, but they only occasionally watch it. But I don't really want them to know I'm wired because I don't want them to worry. I've never had to have a monitor before, but my heart, I have a stress-induced arrhythmia. We found out about it when I tried to go into the Navy right out of high school. They saved my life by finding it, but it's triggering lately. So it'll just, especially if I lay flat, it'll just suddenly race at night and occasionally skip a beat or 2. So we need to figure out what's going on with that. So for them to track that, I have to wear this for at least 2 days, and it'll be on me for anywhere from 2 days to 14. Oh, joy. I've already accidentally unplugged it twice. For me to sleep, I tell you right now, I'm going to have to duct tape this bugger, because this is the power pack. And if you've never had one of these, don't be afraid of them. They're really nothing. It's basically a recording device to pay attention. So you've got the thing under your collarbone. So you've got a thing here, and an electrode on the rib cage right under here. And this is the power pack, but it's also the signal sender. And if the alarm goes off, you hit the button in the middle here, so it specifically records that episode, so it's flagged as something happened. Well, I think in trying to set this up, I think I've accidentally flagged them about 20 times. The only thing I'm having a real problem with is that this little doohickey, which is attaches the power and is the wires to go up onto the sticky things, for lack of knowing what they're actually called, keeps popping off. Now this is a clip that it fits into, and you're supposed to be able to just clip it on your waistband or slide it in your pocket. But every time I put it in my jeans pocket, this thing comes off. And that's not useful because then it's not getting any signal and they must think I'm dead. So, oops. So, so it does come with a thing for a lanyard. These things that hang around their neck, but I don't like those things because after falling out of the tree as a kid, I can't have anything that's really any kind of weight pulling on the back of my neck. It usually gives me a bad headache and bothers my neck. Let me see if I can get this hooked with the clip. So yeah, so I'm going to be trying to hide that sucker tomorrow. Otherwise, one of them suffers from anxiety. She's upset already over various things, and she's delaying her trip to go back west to go home because of this funeral. And I just don't want her to worry. She's that kind, that really, really nervous worrier. And I want her to, I mean, this is going to be a hard enough day because a lot of them were in high school together. And the one friend, she'd known Steffi since they were 4 years old. So we all want to be there for Kim. But we'd all gone through this Young People's Theater Workshop, which is this. We had just started the alumni group because after 45 years, the workshop has ended. And this person, have you ever known somebody who, as a teenager, they walk into a room and suddenly it's like sunshine and rainbows? They have that much happy energy. And even when they're not feeling it, their just presence just seems to brighten a room, even if they're not in the that high of all sunshine and rainbows. And that was what our Steffi was like. She played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz when we were teenagers, and she absolutely was Dorothy. She was that ever optimistic, there's no place like home, sweetheart. And it was just so weird having the events for the alumni and her not being there. But she just didn't feel well, and it just didn't seem right without her there. And then 2 days later, we got the word that she passed away that morning. And so it was quite a shock. For me, this is the second person who's younger than I am that I've lost, because the first was my cousin and now Steffi. But I think for some of my younger friends from YPTW that were closer to her age, I think for some of them, we got together last week on the weekend, on Sunday, because we all just needed to get together. And so a bunch of us got together, and in talking with a couple of them, they've never lost anybody yet. Their parents are still alive. They've never lost a contemporary. So it was really hitting them kind of hard. I've been through that already. And my family never hid passing away from anybody. So, I mean, I was going to funerals from the time I was 10 when my grandfather died. So it was always explained to us that it's a part of life and you don't always know when. And even babies can die, because there was a baby in the family long before I ever came along. But one of my great aunts, her and her first husband had a child that had water on the brain in the 1920s. And I saw the photograph once, poor little thing. And so we were told about that to understand that it can hit you at any age. So my mother's family never hid it from kids. Once you were 10, you were old enough to be talked to and understand. And so that's stood me good stead all these years. But people don't tend to do that. Nowadays it's, oh, what do we tell the kids? We'll just tell them they're sleeping. No, they're not. They're gone. That's all. And that's what happens. You know, trees may have a longer lifespan than us, but even trees eventually pass away and go on to become the compost for the next trees. Everything builds on top of what went before. So it's going to be a rough morning. So, and I want to get plenty of sleep. And I'm also not sure how I'm going to sleep with this thing and not roll over on it. So, let's see. What else did I say? We were going to check in with me. The kitties are doing okay. We're having some problems with the outdoor kitties because there's a red tabby that's chasing Jack. Jack is the one-eyed Jack. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Kathy, you know what was weird for me this week is that on Wednesday of last week, on the 7th, I had to teach signs of a heart attack to my Boy Scouts. I could not get, at 50, when I had mine, I could not get taken seriously either. They just, well, you're too young. No, I'm not. But the problem is that I was in the middle of the woods when I had mine. So when I finally got back and to an ER, there's a blood test they can do, and they look for certain things in the blood at the time you've had a heart attack, but those things fade within hours. And it was 3 days before I was able to see a doctor. And so they were questioning it, but yes, it's very different from the men's. And in the Boy Scout handbook, it has all the symptoms for the men. So I made a point that I was teaching it so that I could explain to you guys, you all have mothers, you all have grandmothers, you have sisters, you have aunts. You need to know how different it is. So I taught them both the symptoms for a man and the symptoms for a woman. And while it's not a requirement, I also taught them how to see the signs of a stroke and what to watch out for. Because it makes no sense to me, as common as strokes and heart attacks are, why are the Boy Scouts only teaching a heart attack and not a stroke? To me, it just seems a no-brainer to do both. So, yeah, that's just crazy. I had real trouble in the ER when I had the mini stroke because they kept telling me, well, you're from Chester, you had to have taken something illegal. No, no, I didn't. So yeah, we went through all of that. It's weird now because right now I have so many new doctors. My cardiologist retired, and so now it's this young guy who is like, he looks so young, I'm half tempted to go, how many years have you been out of school? But he's new. The primary care is new. The gynecologist is new. I just passed with the guy who'd been my orthopedics, the foot doctor, and I think he's retiring or already has. And if he has, I need to find out where are my records because I had foot surgery. I need copies of those records. So, symptoms for a woman for stroke isn't much different. I didn't find anything that actually said. Now, what happens for women is that for women, their strokes tend to do more damage to the muscles in that the muscles then will not be able to keep strength. But the actual stroke itself isn't really any different. But for a man, because they tend to have more developed muscles, for a man, the stroke can be even worse, especially if they were like the bodybuilder type. Apparently, there can be some correlation that would be worse. But for the most part, strokes are pretty close. one big thing for women with heart attacks is that if you ever have one, do not let the ambulance put you flat on that stretcher. Tell them to prop you up, sit you up. Absolutely not. And the worst thing that you can happen is panic. You're going to want to force yourself to focus on something you love and realize I got to slow my breathing down, just stare at something and focus. Get control of your breathing, get control of your nerves, because the worst thing a woman can do for a heart attack is to panic. That adrenaline will make it so much worse, man or woman. Adrenaline is not your friend at that point. And for a woman, if they lay you flat, you're more likely to have congestive heart failure, because, and it doesn't seem to happen so much in the men, but in women, if you're laid flat during or immediately after a heart attack while they're trying to get you to the ER, women are more likely to have fluid buildup around the heart, which then basically chokes it. That's what congestive heart failure is that you have so much fluid around the top of your lungs and your heart in that cavity space there that your heart can't pump and your lungs can't expand to let any air in. And women are 50% more likely to have that if they're laid flat during or after a heart attack. Oh, is that what happened with Simi? And I didn't hear about Goody Ma. Yeah, it took me a long time to get over, and I'm never going to be 100% because I just can't keep strengthening this thigh muscle. I go up the steps one leg at a time because I can't seem to keep strength on that left leg. And so I'll take a step up on that and then I tilt, tip into the wall. Mike laughs at me. It is kind of comical. You know, you look like you're drunk going up the steps. Can't help it. There's not enough strength there. But I'm doing better than I was 2 weeks ago. Definitely doing better. We just need to get this arrhythmia thing checked out. So there's some tests I've not had in years. So since I'm older, we're doing everything. I'm getting the full workup. I just gave blood today. There were 5 different blood tests. Luckily, they only had to take 2 vials of blood. But there were 5 different test scripts that they were going to do. I've got to arrange a chest x-ray. I've had the EKG. I have to go Monday for an echocardiogram. I go Wednesday for a nuclear stress test. And there's another one. Oh, he wanted a sleep apnea test. Yada yada. And my insurance won't pay for that to be here at my house. I have to go somewhere and go sleep there. Oh, joy. You know that's never going to work. You're not going to sleep in some, I mean, I don't know if they do it at the hospital or it's some sleep study center. And I'm like, great. So you guys sleep in a hospital bed. It's not your own bed. It's not your own pillows. You're not going to sleep. You're not going to sleep well, that's for sure. Oh, I've had hers at Thanksgiving. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Yeah, I was 50 when I had the stroke. I was 41. Well, no, I was 41 when Mom died. It was after my birthday, though. Was it? No, it wasn't. My birthday is October, and this was in September. So I was 41. I was 41 when I had my heart attack. And they never found anything clogged, nothing. So the only thing they could consider was all the intense stress that was going on then. So I've dodged a bullet twice. I don't expect to get that lucky a third time, but we'll see. So What else are we cupping among? The kitties. Let's see. Well, that's the next update. One-eyed Jack, I may have to start a GoFundMe. The one rescue is willing to take him and get the eye fixed, but it's more than what they normally would do. If it was just getting him fixed, they have a grant for that for cats in Chester. To get him fixed would be free, but it would help if they want me to cover at least $500 or $600 of the cost to get the because there's no eye in the one socket in this side, and to get that cleaned out properly and get it closed properly, and get them fixed as well. But that part's free. But yeah, they want to try to like see if they could at least split the cost. That they would fund half of it, and I think they're actually, honestly, with the amount of what a surgery would cost for a cat for something like that, I'm surprised they only want, $500 to $600. So there might be a GoFundMe popping up because I don't have that. I'm still working on the last year's school tax. So, and that's, $500 is a third of what I need for the school tax. But I'm plugging away at this. I'm not going to make my mark by the end of the month, so I'm going to miss it. So I have to see what I can do. But that's what happens. You have a goal or a debt. You have something. You try. You do what you can to get there. And sometimes you're not going to get there. You're going to miss the mark. Most of the time, that's okay. I just know that Monday, I'm going to have a conversation with somebody and say, well, can we do payments somehow? Because I have a third of this. So if I give you the third now in good faith, can we break this up? So so if you have goals, that's great. If the goal seems too huge, break it into smaller ones. And sometimes if they have a deadline, maybe life intrudes a little bit and you're not going to quite get there. Most of the time, that's okay. And if it's not, you try to make it okay. You do what you can. And so that's what I'm going to do for Jack. That's what I'm going to do for that bill. And I did purchase something from, Foo, what is his Real Nifty Vintage? Yes. Isn't that Jeffrey's? Look, I haven't watched one of his in a long while. Real Nifty, not Thrift or Junk or Vintage Hunter, because that's Misty. God, I haven't watched one of his in way too long. Let's see. All these channels on here, they're all, look, there's Tiger's Timeless Treasures, New England Thrifter, Crazy Lamp Lady. No, not Vintage and Vinyl, that's Katie. Yeah. So he has this online reselling plan, a Real Nifty Vintage. Thank you, Kat. The way it's laid out is beautiful. I love it. Because he's got, you have your monthly, and then it's broken up into each page is a week, and it's got priorities. It's got to do. I should have bought this sooner in the year. I love this in the front. There's a mileage tracker if you have to source for stuff and keep track of mileage and expenses. You got that. It's got a whole thing for passwords because, oh God, who else has trouble remembering passwords because your computer saves everything? I had a devil of a time because I could not remember my password to get into something, and I knew it was on my laptop at home, but it's not saved on my phone. So it's just great. I love it. I've had this thing about 4 days now, and I've already got, this week has already got stuff all over it and priorities. I'm starting to fill up next week. But there's room. So like the back of, in the back, we get through to December, it goes to January, but there's an accounting ledger. So you can keep things, income and expenses right there. There's also just some blank pages for notes. There was another thing in the front, which was kind of cool. He's got the retail holiday schedule, which is great. But he's got another full page for notes, but he's got this other page that's got little things that you can put, like inspirational quotes, quotes about money, well-being, your bucket list, your goals, and then a 2023 small calendar. This is set up so nicely. And I'd been thinking and had it on my radar for a long while now, and finally went, I really need this. And that's going to be such a huge help, because I've got too much of mine in too many different little books. Like I have, I've got notebooks full of stuff, like this one is to try to keep track of unsold items, so I know whether where did it go. So was it an item like that got broken? Was it an item? Because if it's something you bought, that still was an expense, even though you couldn't resell it because maybe they didn't wrap it right. You got it home and it broke. You got to keep track of all that stuff. And then I've got another book. Another notebook is all the eBay stuff. Another book is all the Etsy stuff. And then I really didn't have anything for the YouTube stuff other than another notebook. So this way I can at least keep the finance side. The accounting ledger is going to be a huge help because, it's all under that Tosh umbrella. So that'll be great. Hi, Denise. So yeah, I'm loving that thing already, and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely getting 2024s as soon as he has it up there. And the other thing too is I can also, by having so much space to write instead of just a little square on a calendar hanging on the kitchen door, I can write my scout stuff in there because I have to coordinate my lives to when there's summer camp. There's a trip in October is my trip that I'm in charge of, and sometimes on some of these trips away, I might be able to go on the trip, and then while they go off and do stuff, maybe I could go filming and find a thrift shop or something somewhere, some thrift shop or something that's not right around here where everything's so expensive and the only thing around here is pretty much Goodwill. Hello, Bonnie. How are you? So last week was a book sale, and this week is a live, and I already put it into there and made sure that we're all set so that the week of summer camp is a live chat, which if I can do it from camp, I will do it from camp, because 11 o'clock is lights out, so all the kids should be in their tents, unless it's the teenagers, which we don't really have. We really don't have that many. I think we've got one that's 16 or 17, 16 going with us. That's it. Everybody else is younger. Paul, hello, Philly Flipper. How is Florida, dude? I've been missing a lot because with all the stuff that was going on, I just and my back and just the chaos of too many friggin' people dying on me. I wasn't watching much YouTube, so I'm way behind on everybody's channel. Oh yeah, AC helps definitely. Cause it's Florida, where every about 2:30, 3 o'clock, it's gonna rain for 20 minutes. I swear it did that just about every single day for the week I was there. Um, well, it did that when I was around Orlando. When we were in the Florida Keys, it didn't do that. You could see the storms come up off the ocean, and most of the time you could watch them as they went past the Florida Keys and started heading north. And we're like, oh, that one's going to Orlando. So, oh yes, Nora, good. Your Viking ship is still sitting there safe because I've got to find my quilt batting because I just am so paranoid about those little tiny oars. I'm really, really. You get a 4 p.m. Okay. Yeah, because I was there when I was there in October, September or October in 1984, and I don't think we were there in August. And it was like in Orlando, it was like 2:30, 3 o'clock every day. But yeah, every day, and it just for a few minutes, right? Just for, like you said, gone by 4:15. Just for a few minutes, and then boop, gone. So, um, so what other updates? We're still looking for some help with some projects. Michael, who hates yard work, he's willing to cut grass. He don't mind that, but there's so much ivy and other crap out there. It really has to have the roots dug out. And so he's decided if we can find somebody, he's willing to spend $500 to hire somebody to just start out front, ripping ivy out, and just work their way all the way around. I don't know that we're going to find anybody for that amount. I did find a thing, and he just laughed at me because it was a customer from the Wawa I worked at. And the man has goats, and he rents out his goats to come eat the crap out of your backyard. Because goats can eat ivy, it doesn't bother them. They can eat poison ivy, it doesn't bother them. They could chow down on all that stuff. There's nothing out there that would bother them. They will eat wild grapevines, they will eat honeysuckle, they will eat that wild rose bush that's the size of a VW Beetle. They, they, they will eat it all. And the guy comes and they evaluate it and they put up their own fencing. And so I was wondering, how much would that cost to come get the goats to eat it all? You just tell them what you want to keep. They carefully block all that off. And basically, I mean, if you go down the whole side of this house into that backyard, there's an azalea at the front corner, 2 rose bushes against the side porch, a little tiny Seven Sisters rose bush at the end of the porch, a hydrangea on that side, a Queen Elizabeth rose by the fence, and then there's nothing until you get to that massive friggin' wild rose. But hiding half underneath it is another azalea, and then another azalea by the fence. So you could literally go all the way down, leave those alone, and take everything out. They could have a field day. Bring me 4 goats and leave them for a week. They can eat it all. So, yeah, right? I mean, it's a great idea. It's nice, environmental. I'm gonna look into the cost because I follow his Facebook page, and he's only the farm's it's a farm that the buildings go back to 1790. And at some point in 1900, it's a weird farmhouse because the house itself, the foundation of it is all stone, and the first floor is all stone. So he didn't know if at some point they had a fire or something. But then what they did is they took all that and took everything off. And so the first floor walls are stone. And then the next 2 floors of the house are early 1900s wood clapboard farmhouse. So he says it looks strange because it looks like they just plunked one on top of this stone foundation. But the barn, they've found coins around the foundation of the house. They found coins around in the barn, stuff that goes back to like 1790s, the oldest coin they found. So, hi, Marcy. So I'm going to see if the goats are a viable option. Just because it'd be so much more fun. And we're not having any luck. I mean, there's no teenagers in the troop to hire right now to just come dig it all out. And a landscaper, problem with landscapers is they either want to just cut it, which isn't going to kill it. These vines, there's 7 different vines on the property, and if cutting them, just cutting them level with the ground worked, I wouldn't have this problem. And you can't do like my neighbor just did with the lawnmower. He just went right through the patch of poison ivy and regular ivy with his lawnmower and said, that'll kill it. And I went, you know, your father did that too, and you ended up with twice as much ivy. Yeah. So, yeah. So who just came in? Mike's here and Deborah Tucker's here. Hello. So that's Mike's big project for the summer, but I have to find the person to do it, but he'll pay for it. Because he doesn't want to do it. That's why. My big project, besides everything inside the house, I really, really, really want to get the ground floor windows. All of the glazing is really old, and some of these windows we looked at and realized there's not much glazing still holding the glass, and especially on the front of the house, this makes a difference. A lot of the windows around the rest of the house were replaced, but not the original windows on the front of the house. Why? Because they still have, a lot of them still have that wavy 1911 glass. And Mom and I were not willing to change the look of the period on the front of the house. We didn't care about the back. There's one window in the playroom because they only give you the choice of all this white vinyl for these windows, and that would look really weird in a room where all of the woodwork is this dark stained walnut. So we didn't do that window, so that one will have to be reglazed. Attic windows, 3 of which aren't original anyway, of what's on the 3rd floor, but the arched window on that end and the arch windows on that end on the 3rd floor, they'd need glazing. But at least the attic one, the way it's made, when I can ever get to it, that's not getting done this year. You guys have seen my attic. I can't get in there. But the way the attic one is made, you can actually pull that in and then just reglaze it, put it back in, and put the bars back in. I don't know if that'll work on the bedroom up there. I hope it does, because that'd be awesome. If I just have to pop the trim off and then pull the window in, just lay it flat on a sawhorse, do the whole thing, give it a coat of paint, put it right back up. That's Michael's his other project is he wants to get what little bit of paint things need painting, mostly the front porch, the side porch, and the window trim on the front of the house, that we're going to get that painted this year. He's decided that's the project that we're both going to have to work on. Because there ain't, and I just laugh because even with glazing the windows, I'm okay getting on a ladder to do the 1st floor. I'm not sure how I'm doing these 2nd floor windows. That might be a bigger challenge. But if the windows still have rope holding the window weights in, then problem solved. I'll just take the window apart. Windows that have the old school windows that have the weights inside the window frame, usually, like in this house, they all have little tiny screws where you just unscrew that piece of trim and boom, right there, you can get to the weights. But once you take that piece of trim off, you can actually lift the window itself out of the entire frame. So if they still have rope, which I think 2 of them still do, then I'll need to replace it with window chain. And there's window chain still in the basement that hasn't been used yet. So yeah, that'll be so easy if I can do it that way. If they've already got the chain in, I might do it anyway on the 2nd floor, just because it'd be so much easier to pull them in. The trick is to be able to do it, to do each. The trick will be to do each window's got, each top window has 9 panes. What were the original attic and 3rd floor bedroom windows, they were 2 little windows that had 12 panes in them. So the trick will be to be able to glaze and let it set, and it depends on how long the glazing time is. So the weather's got to be good, because you need time for it to cure and not get wet. That's going to be the trickier thing. I've done it before, just not on this house. So there's the big plans. My big plan is the house, of course, and everything in it. Once we know what's going on with my heart, I thought about doing, because yard sales, because I'm just over that line in Chester, I just never get anybody. I thought about doing a flea market, but with the arrhythmia kicking in and acting up, that's a no. I can't do it without Michael anyway, because I can't really lift stuff. But we're trying to figure out other venues of what's possible, and we'll see. I've also still working on this YPTW alumni thing. Yeah, see, Kathy, I mean, it's such, once you get the angle right of the glazing, and some glazings you can buy it, it's just a long coil of the glazing, and you could just push it in, but you got to make absolutely sure that the wood is clean, that there's no old paint or any dirt on it. You got to give it a light sanding, and then you got to make sure the glass is clean so it adheres well. And so yeah, I mean, it's a job. It's not as big a job as it could be, because I think we figured out that this house has 32 windows, if I remember right. I mean, heck, the living room alone has 4 windows plus a door to what is now an enclosed side porch. So there's 4 here. Dining room's got 1 facing the street, but then it's got this whole bank of, there's at least 3 or 4 in a row in the dining room. Kitchen's got 3 windows. Pantry's got a window. What? My room's got 2. That room's 2. I've lost count. But yeah, I'm so glad so many of them are replaced, because that way I really only have to worry about glazing the front of the house. There's 1 window on the side that for some reason never got done. It's just going to be in that's in the Black Hole Challenge room. Yeah, the cheap white kitchen cabinets they sell nowadays might be a little tougher, because a lot of times that coating that's over them is a laminate and it's part plastic. So that might be a bit tougher. Do all my weights work? Well, the playroom window weights don't work. I know that's rope. I know it's broken and it's held up with a broken wooden, it's held up with what's left of a broken wooden musket that Mike had as a kid that we bought at some revolutionary, at Fort Sumter, I think, when we went on vacation. So no, we were at Fort Mifflin. So that one I know needs replacing. I think the two in the black hole challenge room are both still, I think one of them is still rope, and I think the front bathroom is still rope. So I think there's 3 that are iffy because I know the rope is broken in the playroom one. I know the side window in the black hole challenge room, that one opens fine, so the weights are okay, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried the one in the front of the room, so I don't know if that one still works or not. Oh, they're so easy to replace if the cords are still on. Oh yeah, it's so much easier. And like I said, I have the chain. I found the little bag of S hooks. So there's extra chain that's not been used. There's the S hooks to hook them on. So everything's there. And I had helped my dad when we redid them, because at one point he was doing them as they would break. And then, but then since we got so many of the windows replaced with modern ones, they take the weights out. So they were gonna throw them in the trash. They said, "Hey, you can just throw them away." And I'm thinking, no, we're not. That's a heavy chunk of metal. I took a lot of the weights to the junkyard. Got money for them. Yeah, and that's what they used to do. You replace it with clothesline, but clothesline eventually breaks again. So there is a thing called window chain, and it's not. They're very strange little pieces because they look almost, each link looks like a little triangle with a fold over at the top, and it hooks into the next part so that they will work with the old pulleys. It's not very wide chain because it's meant to work with the old pulley systems that are in old houses. So so it would work. And yeah, most of ours were old clothesline, old cotton clothesline. So what are your projects for this summer? 50 years later. Honestly, I think some of the ropes that we replaced were original. So what are your projects that you're planning or that you've already started on? What are your projects? Let's hear from my night owls. Who's got stuff planned for what's their goal for the summer? I'm using up some of my old seeds too because I planted a few of the pots that are on the front porch. The only thing that came up is a couple of marigolds, and not even all of them. But I look at it this way: they're old seeds, and if they don't come up, well, then they're compost. So, so I also have a chance to go to the Pennsylvania Ren Fair. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. A friend is having, she has a booth for the, now I'm forgetting what clan it is. Macintosh? Maybe? I've forgotten. But her family tree is in this one clan, and so she's been active with clan things for that Scottish clan here in the States. And so she's gonna be the one running a booth. And so she gets free passes into Celtic Day at the Pennsylvania Ren Fair. And since I haven't had a chance to see him in a long time, her husband is going to come kidnap me Friday morning after next week's live sale. She would have had me kidnapped on Thursday, but she didn't want me to miss having a live sale. So, so then I will be there for the weekend. I will make a point of trying to film stuff so you guys can see what this place is like. I personally, some things, I'm hoping that I can see the tabor toss. A tabor basically is this giant pole, like telephone pole, just this big monster of a thing, and they toss it. And this is a game or a sport, depending on who you talk to. How bored do you have to be in ancient Scotland to go, oi, let's see who can rip this the tree out of the ground and throw it the furthest? It's just, but it's a actual competition, and I just think it's hysterically funny. But it is fun to watch them. But they'll have a bunch of different Scottish Celtic games, and but yeah. Oh, and see, I love bagpipes. I love bagpipes. So it was a test of strength. Well, yeah, it's definitely a test of strength. Definitely that. So there used to be at the Devon Horse Show grounds, there used to be a Celtic fling every year. I don't know if it still exists, but when I was in my 20s, they used to get Rose Valley Chorus and Orchestra used to volunteer to help with the parking and guide cars. And so you worked your shift helping in the parking, and you could sign up for a 1 or 2 hour shift, and then it was free to get into the Celtic Fling. So I did that every summer for 5 years in my 20s because it was a blast. It was great. But the Ren Fair is not real close to me, and neither is Leslie. And so I get to go see my adopted by love sister, and I think her kids will be there because I think they're home from college right now, and so I'll get to go see them because it's been way too long. Because it got to the point that Chevy Malibu I had was not going to make it there, so I have not. The kids have grown and graduated from high school and are in college now. It's been that long since I've seen them that I haven't even. I don't think they were even in high school last time I saw them. Hello, Warren. So there's always something has come up, and we both decided that we're going to make this happen because all too often we think, oh, that's right, I got to call this person, or I haven't heard from this person, I should give them a call and talk to them, and you never quite get there and do it, and then before you know it, it's too late, and we're not letting that happen. So this time it's planned, it's set, I'm going. And the bonus is I get to go spend the day at the Celtic Fair. So Capital District Scottish Games. Well, yeah, of course the last 3 years have been, wonky for everything. So Nora, I hope you liked all your stuff that you got in your package. I took one thing out of there, and I didn't put it on your invoice because you got some other books. So I'll send all the books media mail and get them done. Just to try to save some funds for you that way. But I didn't want to do that with the strawberry shortcake one because I wanted that in there to help give some stability to all the other paper things that you had in that package. So Warren, how goes your lovely business of making those teachers' aids with all your paper dolls? Purple stripe? I don't have any purple coloring. The only one I had was I have this hot pink. There's still about a quarter of the bottle left, just enough to do like right here. But on the white, it doesn't stay very long. I left it in for half an hour last time, and it looks like It looks like most of it's gone. So I'll have to try to leave it in longer. But yeah, I Kool-Aid, really? Wouldn't it make your hair sticky and like attract bees because I would freak. Hi, Retro Ruby. So I would completely freak with bees coming at me. We have an orange cat coming around outside now. And if he doesn't stop going after One-Eyed Jack, we're gonna have a problem. We already have a problem. I've gone out twice where I've had to chase it so that Jack could eat. Jack's afraid of it. It's gone after him twice. It's big too. It's much bigger than Jack. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's a gorgeous red tabby. But it's taking advantage of the fact that Jack can't see out of one eye. So that's not good. I have a photo now. I'll have to put it on Instagram because I don't think I did. He held still long enough for me to get it's only a profile side shot, but I actually have a photo now of One-Eyed Jack. And after I get through tomorrow, I'll see about maybe starting a GoFundMe or something. Because they are willing to take him to get him fixed. That part would be free, but with them wanting to have, at least $500 to help cover the cost of getting that eye repaired. And they also said that they're trying to find a foster for him because the eye is going to have stitches and they can't release him back into the wild. And so they're trying to see if they have somebody who can foster him while he recovers. And knock on wood, because if he can get into a foster house with an experienced foster person, because when he first showed up, he's smaller than my kitties. He's smaller than my boys. So I think he was born towards the end of the summer. He seems like he's not quite a year old in size. And so, and he's gaining in size because he's getting fed every day now. So I think he'd be a good candidate. It's just that he's scared because he can't always see. And he's letting me pet him now. Yay! I've been able to pet him tentatively along the back. Could never touch his head. And even then you'd get maybe 2 pets and he'd, withdraw. Never tried to hurt me, never growled, never hissed, nothing. Just would pull away. Well, in the last 3 days, I've been able to pet him from the head all the way down to the tail. He never fussed, he never pulled away. And I did it while he was eating, though. We need to get to the point where he'll let me do it when his face isn't in the food. But that is a milestone when you're working with outdoor cats, to where they'll let you run your hand all the way from their head all the way down. Because a lot of them, you can start touching them on their back, on the shoulders, behind the head. They don't like their head touched, and it takes a while. And he's been coming around for 3 months now, at least. And so, yeah, 3 months now. And so that's an improvement. So, entomology. Oh, cool. That is cool. Warren, you need to send me a link again because I can't find it. Shoot me an email with a link to where you're selling these at, because of the people that are on the Young People Cedar Workshop, there's a lot of teachers in there, and 2 of them are elementary school teachers. And I was telling them about your stuff, and then I was like, I couldn't find the link. So send it to me in an email because I'd like to send them your way and see, especially as the one does, she works with reading with special ed children. And a lot of times finding something unique with pictures to help with that is something she's always on the lookout for. A unit on insects, though. I'm gonna write that down. I'm wondering if I have any ephemera with insects. And I might. I can't promise it. Can't promise it, but I might. Because we'd done a thing in Scouts a long while ago. I might still have the pieces, which basically were cutouts of stuff from I went to Goodwill and was buying like any beat up insect book we could find and ended up getting pulled up, I mean, when you hand a book, a field guide or something, and it gets passed around through 20 boys, by the time it comes back to you, you're lucky if it's got all its pages. So I'll take a look. I'll take a look for that one. So Elrond got up and left. He's been laying on the TARDIS bag. He's been following me around the house. If I leave my door open, I wake up to 4 of the 5 kittens in my room and that's only been since the heart's gotten wonky. So they're worried. Doctor's doing all right. We're having a little trouble though. She seems to be, I think she's getting asthma, but she's older and she's overweight. So every once in a while she seems to have a little trouble breathing. But we've had this smog in the air from the wildfires in Canada, and it's only seemed to be since that's happened. And then she seemed fine when we had the rain and wind blew it all out. But today the sun was all red again. There's a haze up there, and earlier today she was having trouble breathing again. So I think that's from that. So I'm sure nobody put in their goal for this summer, but I'm sure some of you have them. So we will all, even if you don't want to say what they are, that's okay. We all have little goals, big goals. And we finally decided, Mike and I were going to he's going to pay to get all of the kittens chipped. Well, I mean, Gimli and Elrond already are because we knew we were keeping them. But he's going to cover getting all of them chipped because he said at this point, we've had 8 possible adoptions fall through for Frodo and Arwen. And at this point, we might as well keep them. And I just looked at him and went, yeah. Who's feeding them? But he's been helping a lot with that. So, which is a good thing. But he's thinking of adopting Arwen so that he will own 3 cats. Because she likes to sleep in with him. And she doesn't get real close, but she likes to be. He's got a big bed. He's got a double, and so there's plenty of room. He's got a queen size bed, so there's plenty of room for the cats. I have a twin. I don't have room for 5 cats to sleep in the same bed with me. I don't have the room for 3 cats to sleep in the same bed with me. So. You want to help Mary with her treasure trailer? What is her treasure trailer? She have a trailer full of stuff? Is that what I need? I need to put if I had a trailer, I'd have to get a semi-trailer and put it in the backyard. Well, just basically like one of my goals is always the house, but I got to pick one room for inside, and that's going to be we're getting back to the Black Hole Challenge room. And then my outdoor project is to reglaze those original windows. So that, I mean, because I don't consider like working on this overstuffed house as necessarily the goal, because I have to do that because that's my job now. But there also has to be, I need an office. So we have to get back to the black hole challenge room. So there's my inside goal. And then my outside goal is to get these original windows reglazed, because we found one when I was cleaning, the Mike was helping me, and I was on the inside and he was on the outside, because in old windows you got to take the original window up and then the storm windows out there. So to clean them though, you got to lower the windows and all that. So he was on the outside doing the outside and I was on the inside. And when he was doing the top part and he's looking at the window and he goes, "You might want to come out here and look at this." Well, one of the panes of glass that's in the dining room window, the pane of glass is held in with just 3 little short pieces of glazing. That's all the original glazing that's left around it. That's when this became my project for outside. That's when that had to become my outside project. Absolutely. Before glass falls out. Then I have to pin the neighbor down. He's willing to climb the ladder. Jan, you bought me a coffee. Why did it not tell me? I see an email there. Oh, thank you, Jan. Because that will definitely help, because that the buy me a coffee stuff, all that goes to learning centers and units of study. How am I finding this? No. Come on, work with me here. That didn't come through as a link. That's your site. Why can I not find it? Is this it? No. No, that's not our Warren. I'm gonna find your site, Warren. I'm gonna find you. No, not Warren County. It did not come up as a link. Darn. Fix the front garden bed. Oh, yeah, dry rotted timber. That's something we don't have, because we did find that what's left of the trunk from the big magnolia that came down is full of carpenter ants. And I need to do something about that. And I told Mike, don't pull the vines anymore off of it. Just leave it sit, because unless I actively kill them right away, they will just migrate to the next thing. And considering how close it is to the house, I don't want those monsters attacking my house. So yeah, if you have rotted timber edging, you're going to want to get it out of there. And dry rot, that's so see, there's your goal for the summer. That's definitely your goal for the summer. I know I have Boy Scouts who have goals for the summer, and some of them have goals for they just want to do little things around the house, or they want to read so many books. And I took what did I take? I took Tylenol, and I took a allergy meds. I didn't take my blood pressure meds because I'm going to be signing off within the next 20 minutes, and then I got to go to bed because I have this funeral in the morning. So and I've still got to figure out how I'm sleeping with this thing. Maybe if I just like duct tape it up here for the night, then I won't roll over on it and unplug it. So I'm feeling okay. Mike and I went for a walk around the block. I got so bad. I made it because we're kind of in the middle, not quite, but I made it down to the corner, down to that corner, made it most of the way over there, and then had to stop because I was winded. And then part way around that and stopped again, and then part way around that and stopped again, and then made it home. So I had to stop like 3 times because I was just winded. I get, like I said, Monday is the echocardiogram. Yeah, echocardiogram. Wednesday is a nuclear stress test, and I have to call the hospital and arrange for a chest x-ray. One of the things he's concerned of is that the shortness of breath and the fact that the jumping around of the heart only happens when I lay flat. He's concerned that there might be fluid building up in here. Congestive heart failure runs in the family with the women. My mom had it, her mom had it, her mom had it. So we're just everything's getting checked out. The chest x-ray is what tells you if there's fluid in there. So I got to get that one done ASAP. Meanwhile, I've got wired up with a monitor, so I'm doing better. If I feel the need for a nap, I'm supposed to just stop everything and take it. I didn't get a nap today. Today's the first day I did go and I did lay down for a little bit. But today's the first day that I didn't take one. And usually I set my alarm. They're usually no more than 30 minutes, but it sucks when you get winded at everything you do. But I can't figure it out because I know, like, if you have congestive heart failure, there's a thing where if you push down on your fingernails, the blood should retreat and your nail then will turn white. When you have congestive heart failure, that doesn't happen. Your lips start to turn purple. This will happen before you even start feeling here. And I don't have those 2 symptoms because I always had to check my mom for those. So that's why we're like, well, let's do all these tests. And some of these tests, I haven't had a nuclear stress test since before my mother died, and that's been 16, 17 years now. Kind of lost track. But I would have been in my late 30s when I had a nuclear stress test. So, because I'm pretty sure she was alive when I had one. So that was the last time I had one. So it's been a while. And they have that now, so they can compare that older one to now. And so better to do all these tests and get them done. You know, let's rule everything out. And if nothing else, and if they show nothing, it gives us a baseline for as I get older. So I'm not real worried, because if it is congestion building up, better to nip it in the bud now before it gets full blown into a bigger problem. And it's a problem that I know runs in the family, and I know what to do for it. I've been making sure that I drink a lot more water to help flush my system and do what I can. So I'd rather have this to deal with because it's stuff that's familiar. Not that it's great stuff, but it's familiar and not something crazy and worse that would be, where I'd have to research and yeah. I don't need any more headaches that I have to relearn stuff all over again. So, and this crap needs to happen now because I'm not letting this mess up summer camp the last week of July. Let's get me fine-tuned and ready for that. I'm not missing my summer camp. That's my big stress relief for the year. I need to be at camp. I need to be out in the woods. I need to be hearing the birds sing. I need to be out there. It is such stress relief for me. And because I haven't been able to go camping with the boys, I haven't had that except for the few times Mike has taken me away this past year. And so what, we went away for a week in the summer and then a long weekend in the spring, and that was it. So somebody's coming. Well, hello, you're back. You happy? Do you still have your collar on? It's not going to stay on for long because it's a quick release one, but it's the one that actually has the tab on it saying that he's chipped and what his number is. Yeah. Oh, look at you. You want all the love. Wants all the love. Now, if he was the only one that wanted to sleep with me, it'd be fine. Because he likes to just curl up like right here, right in my arm. He'll flip over on his back and put his head on my elbow like a pillow. So, and Elrond is now the smallest of them. Arwen is now past him. Frodo's past everybody. The one that was the runt of the litter is now bigger than Gimli. But yeah, now he's the little one. Yeah, and you're having a hard time adjusting to that, aren't you? What? Come here. Come on. Come here. Oh, come on over. Say hi. What? Oh, you want, oh, okay, I see. You want this. All right. Here we go. Look, there goes the head. Wants his mom time. At least him, he just wants, a chest scratch, and he'll be good for about 5 minutes and then he'll get down. Aragorn climbs up and he wants to go to sleep in my arms. And that's not so easy because he's a heavy boy. Oh, I heard that. Who's playing? Somebody has a crinkly toy. Yes. And he's so cute. How can you not keep that face? Look at that. He's so adorable. This is my boy. You're my boy. You're the one I wanted to keep. Yeah. I just wanted to keep one of you. Yeah. Oh, jeez. He's got his eyes closed. He's going to try to go to sleep. He's just quietly purring away. Some days, this is why I can't get work done, is because he'll come in and he'll want to be held. But he's not for too long, He'll get tired of it eventually. He doesn't usually go to sleep in my arms. Aragorn is trouble because no matter how many times I put him down, he will climb. He'll climb onto the back of the chair and come over my shoulder. He'll come up from in between my feet. He'll climb from over there. Sometimes he goes the long way, and next thing I know, he's coming at me from over here off the edge of the pile. He doesn't like taking no for an answer. And then Gimli and Frodo occasionally, Gimli more than Frodo, but Frodo started doing it now, where they just want to come, say hello, get petted, and last for about 5-10 minutes, and then they go away. If only Aragorn did that. What? Yeah, I'm talking about you. Oh, look at the little diva here. Oh, yes, Elrond. Named for an elven prince. You think you are such a prince. So, I'm going to go. I will see you next Thursday for a live sale. I will be working this weekend to get more things packed and invoiced, and I've been a little distracted with getting the everything off the ground and then getting all this doctor stuff lined up and because of the I've just been exhausted. I mean, I've had the serious fatigue because of getting winded so much. Um, that seems to be a little bit better now, as long as I'm mindful of how much fluid I drink. So, um, so I will be back next Thursday for a live sale. I don't know of what yet. Just don't know. And I'm going to just keep plugging away on getting more stuff packed and invoiced and out to you. I've gotten everything out that was here. So now I've got to pack a whole new batch, keep things moving. And if anybody has seen Lois Egan, let me know because I'm getting worried. I have not seen her in quite a few months. I'm not getting any emails answered. And I even sent a couple of thinking of you cards. I've done it twice. I've sent cards down to her address and I'm not getting a return answer. And that's what happened with Terry. And I'm getting worried about Lois. So if anybody's spotted her lately, let me know because I'm getting worried about her. So, but I will just stretching away. All right, you. Okay. So I'm going to go so I can get to sleep, get my meds because they're upstairs. And I will see you guys next week. I really want to find it. Oh, there he goes. He just kind of like falls out of your arm and what? What? Oh, I'm not petted you enough? Okay. So I will see you then. I do really want to get to where I'm on twice a week though, and I'm still going to work on trying to get that more organized and figured out. So have a good night, everybody. And Elrond, say good night because I'm putting you down so that I can reach this. Go play with whoever's making that noise. They have little crinkly foil toys, and somebody's in the hallway playing with one. So have a good time. If you're down south, I understand there's some serious weather down there. Please be safe. Don't take any risks with some of those storms that are coming through. All right. Stay safe, everybody, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.